within the next couple of weeks, we'll be writing the script and the outline for that. So if anyone has any comments or concerns, questions about it, just let Shane or myself know as soon as possible. Wes?
So it's a 24-minute,
Segment.
but
in a
highlights
30
just little bits of different
Yes,
boroughs
it's
all
an
around
actual
the state.
30-minute show.
No. Purely on Emmaus.
24 minutes of just the
All
borough.
just Emmaus.
Wow.
If I remember correctly, they wanted to do like 6 different areas of the borough, and they
Yeah,
want different
so
people speaking, and
Already the outline would possibly have you speaking, Mayor Gilbert speaking, Shane as borough manager. We could do library, we could talk about the library expansion. There's lots of really exciting things. The historic sites. So we have an outline loosely formed at this point, and then we'll start getting into the nitty-gritty of script.
And
Very exciting.
Councilwoman McManaman is starting to put together a timeline of when things need to be kind of due and who we're going to have talking. Because we have it's a quick turnaround. I think
It's a very
March,
quick
right? End of
turnaround.
March?
They
We're trying to
would-
push it to the
We
middle
would
of
shoot
April.
in March, and it would air in May.
Yeah.
it'll be here before we know it.
We're trying
Well-
to push them to the middle of April so that the leaves are on the trees
Yeah.
when they come into town.
And Shane made that offer pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Let's go. So,
Why don't we move
yeah.
to April?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, very exciting. Our next meeting is February 15th at 4:30. Progress.
Thank you, Chairwoman McManaman. Next is, that's it for committees. So you'll see under boards and commissions, there is 8 different items to look at to keep you updated with what's going on in our community. Shane, I have a request. I believe this is the first time I saw the budget worksheet show up under boards and
It's
commissions.
been showing up there.
I-
That boards and commissions thing is
Well, no, just hear me out for a second. I think it's a great idea, and I would like to keep doing that. If we're gonna do that, then I would suggest that we eliminate printing this out and saving us some money.
well. So that's your quarterly. Is that's the quarterly thing?
That one is the current.
Okay, so,
So our
well,
borough treasurer.
then, can we put this on there, and then we don't have to print it out?
It's up to you.
I mean, I
Yeah.
prefer to have it, and then we have it permanently on here,
I
too.
understand something though, Brett. The reason that happened though is because that doesn't necessarily make it to Kathy's hands. You guys got that put in your bins ahead of time. It was already printed, but I will make sure.
Well,
that
I'm
moving
just
forward-
thinking,
yeah.
I'm looking at not printing this out for
Oh.
7 council members. It will be on here, and then we have it permanently.
I understand. I'm just telling you that that's probably how that happened.
Okay,
Moving
it's just a
forward,
suggestion,
though,
that's all.
I'll tell Christine to give that to Kathy, and she'll scan it in for you guys.
Awesome, thank you.
All right.
Personal appeals part 2, if anybody has a personal appeal, please approach a podium, sign in, state your name, and you have 5 minutes for your appeal. Hearing none. Borough Manager's report.
Trying to catch up. Hold on a second. Okay. First and foremost, the significant revenue and expense items for January 2018 are in your iPads. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. They are the typical, obviously, refuse revenue comes in during the month of late January, early February. And then that 70,366, I explained to Jen Ed exactly what that problem was from. And the other stuff is your typical revenue. Expenses. The reason you see such a high number for salt is because they were like 4 shipments behind. And the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and PSAB, PSAB actually helped the municipalities lodge a complaint, but the Commonwealth took note of that. But we were down to almost nothing, to the point where we've been mixing anti-skid in with the salt, which we don't want to do because that just creates a whole nother mess. But they were significantly behind. So we're now only like 2 shipments behind, which is a good thing compared to lately. So that's that. If you have any questions on that, otherwise
Was that across the state? Everyone was having that issue?
everybody that has that client,
Yeah.
or everybody that's a client of, I think it's Morton, I think is the supplier.
Yeah.
And remember, that's so salt is per the CoStarz, the state contract. So
Yeah.
we, because we do the CoStarz contract, we don't have to bid out the salt. So everybody that's on the CoStarz, they take regions of the state. So this region gets Morton.
Okay.
This region over here might get Cargill, this region over here might get another
Yeah.
supplier. We've just had issues with them this year. This is the second time
Yeah.
that we've had issues with the supplier. And one of the problems ends up being, when you have as many quick little snowfalls that we've had,
Yeah, it just goes
it's
through.
salt, it's salt, it's salt. I mean, they're just eating their supply up, and they don't mine the salt out in Pittsburgh. It's coming from Ecuador in South America, and remember a couple years ago, it got held up in customs for like a week.
Yeah.
And then PennDOT took it all when it showed up.
Yeah.
So we're hopeful that the frequency of snowfall slows down here. By the way, watch out for Wednesday.
Wednesday.
The other two things that I have for you is I hired Benjamin Perry as a part-time paramedic. You see kind of the overview that Mr. Hoffman put out to his employees. Regarding Mr. Perry, Mr. Perry is qualified for the position. I felt very good about it. We put him through all the background checks. He's an experienced EMT and paramedic, so I felt good about hiring him as a part-time paramedic. Second, so per ordinance, I need to inform you that I hired him as a part-time employee. Also per ordinance, I need to inform you that we have severed our employment relationship with part-time paramedic Scott Watkins. And you've all received confidential information regarding that matter. So, but I do need to inform you via public meeting that we did both of those actions. If you have any questions for me, feel free to ask. Otherwise, I'll report progress.
Thank you. Under President's business, I'd just like to say about the Eagles, I'm in a diehard Eagles family, and my parents are both passed, and they were diehard Eagles fans. I was a season ticket holder until they left the Veterans Stadium. So I shed a tear when they won because my parents weren't around to enjoy it, but I'm sure there's probably a lot of people in this area that shed tears because they haven't won anything for 58 years. So there's a lot of generations of shedding tears, I think. So with that being said, I also like to thank the people that remained and stuck around after the zoning decision, because you got to hear how the borough actually works and all the things that we discussed, and I appreciate you sticking around. So with that being said, I'd like to take a motion to adjourn. Councilman Barrett, second by Councilman Dufresne. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. Meeting adjourned at 9:13.